people were killed and 4 injured in a bomb blast in a busy shopping district in Saudi Arabia. Good evening and welcome to News Central Sunday. I'm Alex Halikpata. 2 Filipinos were among those hurt when a bomb went off in front of an electronics store in King Khalid Street. More from Nadia Trinidad.
2 people were killed, including an American, when a bomb exploded in a shopping area in the Saudi Arabian city of Khobar. 4 others were injured in the blast, 2 Filipinos among them.
They are also out of danger. In fact, sinabi they are in good condition. Ano lang is the embassy will and the department will try to contact the next of kin, no, yung mga families nila, just to reassure them that that these 2 Filipinos are okay.
Witnesses say they saw a pedestrian hurl a bomb in front of an electronics shop in King Khalid Street. Police are investigating the blast and have cordoned off the area. No motive has been established, yet the United States sees no immediate link to attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. An official says the explosion seems to be an isolated incident. Tension in the region has been high after the U.S. threatened military action against Afghanistan. U.S. military personnel are stationed in the area, but the Pentagon says it has received no report the incident targeted the U.S. military. In 1996, 19 American servicemen were killed when their barracks were bombed. 14 men suspected to be members of Islamic militant group Hezbollah were charged in connection with that bombing. Reporting for News Central, Nadia Trinidad, ABS-CBN News.
On the line, the charge d'affaires of the Philippine Embassy in Saudi Arabia, Mariano Dumias. Good evening, sir. How many were reported killed and injured in the blast, and how many were Filipinos?
Our information, 2 Westerners are confirmed dead. That is as far as the information, the latest information as of this afternoon. And for Filipinos, 2 are confirmed to have been injured, but they are now out of danger. They are in good condition. So we don't have any confirmed Filipino casualty in that blast.
Where are they now? How's their condition? And have their families been notified about their situation?
According to our informant, they are still in the hospital. It's at the King Fahad Hospital in Khobar. Unfortunately, wala tayong mga details as to their relatives or contact numbers either dito sa Kingdom or sa Philippines. So we have no way of getting in touch sa kanilang mga family or relatives.
Do we have their names at least?
Itong dalawang Filipino injured ay mga pangalan nila ay si Richard De La Rosa, 33 years old, at yung pangalawa ay si Diosdado Bailomo, 37 years old.
What's the latest in the investigation? Do the Saudi authorities have any leads?
So far, itong mga local Saudi authorities, I believe they are still making investigation on the blast, and that as of now, they have not issued any statement as to the motive or to the any individual or any group responsible for the bomb blast. So wala pang statement from the appropriate agencies tungkol sa bagay na yan.
Finally, sir, before we let you go, how is the situation there in Saudi? Does this add to the tension in the area?
Except for this bomb blast last night at 8 o'clock, everything is normal naman dito. Wala namang imminent sign of danger. In fact, it's a normal day for everybody, except nga lang yung bomb blast na yan na nangyari kagabi.
Okay, thank you very much. That was the Philippine Embassy's charge d'affaires to Saudi Arabia, Mariano Dumias. The U.S. issues a new travel advisory to its citizens. The advisory lists the Philippines as among the countries Americans should at least try to avoid. Camilla Kim reports.
The U.S. State Department has released a new travel advisory, warning Americans from traveling to the Philippines. This after the U.S. State Department tasked its embassies to come up with a recommendation on the security situation on their host countries after the September 11 attacks.
We were tasked by Washington to look at the situation here and to make some recommendations, and the State Department, in taking into consideration our recommendations, then issued a new announcement to the public.
The report stressed extremist groups like the Abu Sayyaf still pose an imminent threat. Americans were also advised to avoid traveling to beach resorts in Mindanao. U.S. government employees and contractors have also been temporarily withdrawn from southern and western Mindanao, Zamboanga, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, and Jolo. But local government officials called the advisory baseless, unfair, and reckless.
The timing is very insulting. That ngayon pa na nagbigay na po tayo ng all-out support sa paglalaban sa terorismo, no?
The officials add Mindanao is much safer than America, which is still under the threat of terrorist attacks. The officials demand an immediate withdrawal of the advisory.
Ang suggestion ko po dyan sa ating pamahalaan, lalo na po sa ating Department of Foreign Affairs, ay magpalabas din sila po ng advisory na kung ayaw po nilang pumunta dito sa Pilipinas, ay hindi po sila welcome din po dito sa atin. Then the soldiers and the planes and the other armed forces equipment of the United States should not also be welcome here.
Reporting for News Central, Camilla Kim, ABS-CBN News.
15 members of the Abu Sayyaf group are reported killed in an ongoing encounter between the group and the army in Lantawan, Basilan. The military reports 25 other bandits and 10 soldiers were injured in the clashes. The fighting began this morning when members of the military's task force Thunder chanced upon a group of bandits. There are reports the bandits were with some of their hostages. The Abu Sayyaf continues to hold over 20 people hostage, among them 2 Americans. Coming up, Japanese military planes refuel at the Naiya en route to Pakistan. And First Gentleman Mike Arroyo insists on his innocence. These stories and more when News Central returns. Welcome back. You're watching News Central Sunday. 6 Japanese C-130 planes loaded with relief goods for the Afghan refugee camps had a brief stopover at the Naiya this morning. The planes are expected to proceed to Islamabad, Pakistan. Robert Tan was there and he filed this report.
At around 11 this morning, 6 C-130 Japanese government aircraft landed at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport for refueling. The aircraft flew directly from Nahaya Air Base in Komaki City, Japan, and were carrying boxes and boxes of relief goods containing food, medicine, water, blankets, tents, and water cleaning machines. The planes were bound for Islamabad, Pakistan. This is part of the Japanese humanitarian assistance for the Afghan refugees. They're only using the Naiya as a stoppage point solely for refueling their planes. The Japanese C-130s will make another refueling stop in Bangkok and the third in New Delhi, India, before proceeding to their last destination in Islamabad, Pakistan. Reporting for News Central, Robert Tan, ABS-CBN News.
The Taliban has mobilized an extra 7,000 to 10,000 fighters in Afghanistan's border with Uzbekistan as reinforcement after the U.S. deployed more than 1,000 of its own soldiers in Uzbekistan. U.S. ground troops have started to move in at the Kanabad Air Base, just 50 kilometers north of the Afghan border. Taliban officials threatened to attack Uzbekistan if it allowed the U.S. to launch strikes against Afghanistan from Uzbek territory. Earlier, the Taliban admitted to having fired at a U.S. aircraft flying over Kabul, but it did not hit the plane. Taliban officials said they also spotted 3 more planes flying over the city of Herat. They believe the planes were part of a U.S. reconnaissance mission. Afghanistan's Taliban government has reportedly released detained British journalist Yvonne Ridley. Ridley was arrested along with 2 Afghan companions for illegally entering the country September 28th. She was accused of being a spy. Reports say she remains in Kabul, where she will take a 6-hour drive to the Pakistani border. Meantime, the Bush administration rejected the Taliban's demand for the U.S. to stop its massive propaganda in exchange for the release of 8 aid workers detained in Kabul. The aid workers, 2 Americans, 2 Australians, and 4 Germans, were arrested in August on charges of trying to convert Muslims to Christianity, a serious crime under Taliban law. In other news, First Gentleman Mike Arroyo insists he never handled PCSO funds and says he will no longer comment on the issue. Arroyo is accused of diverting 250 million pesos in PCSO funds for the campaign of government senatorial bets last May. During his radio program this morning, Arroyo said even the PCSO board has belied the charges and cleared his name. He said he will no longer issue statements on the issue. When we come back, government will take out a $75 million loan from the Asian Development Bank in a bid to rein in its deficit. And Malacanang takes the lead in tightening the belt by getting rid of some of its task forces. These stories and more when News Central returns. Welcome back. Terrorists will now find it hard to do business in the Philippines. That is, if government follows an advisory issued by finance ministers of the Group of 7 nations. The powerful G7, composed of the U.S., Japan, Germany, France, Britain, Italy, and Canada, urged all governments to step up measures to block the funding of suspected terrorists. The G7-led Financial Action Task Force will draw up guidelines for financial institutions worldwide to detect and block terrorist money. This includes the creation of financial intelligence units, as well as asset tracking centers to share information between countries. The move follows a UN resolution calling on all nations to freeze assets of terrorists suspected of having masterminded the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The Arroyo administration is pulling out all the stops to uphold fiscal discipline in the country. Government has announced it will borrow $75 million from the Asian Development Bank to fund the ballooning budget deficit. Finance Secretary Jose Isidro Camacho says it will be easy to get the loan since the Philippines has already complied with most of the conditions imposed by the ADB. These include the enactment of a law giving the Securities and Exchange Commission more powers in regulating the capital market and opening up ownership of the Philippine Stock Exchange. The budget deficit rose 3 times above target to 16.9 billion pesos in August, a strong indicator government may exceed this year's record target of 145 billion pesos. The peso ended the week in positive territory, but only 2 centavos higher than its previous close against the greenback. For the week, it was lower against the U.S. dollar despite better than expected inflation data and the stable outlook given to the Philippines by credit ratings agency Fitch IBCA. Over the Philippine Stock Exchange, share prices also suffered a downturn as negative sentiment continued to hound the market. Investors ignored the 25 basis point cut in overnight rates, sending an already battered PHYSIC 6 points lower to close the week at 1088. Consistent with President Arroyo's calls for austerity, her office volunteered to trim down the 32 ad hoc agencies it supervises. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Rolando Andaya says most of the agencies were inherited from the previous government. Andaya says getting rid of some of these agencies will save government money. He points out for next year, the ad hoc bodies have a budget allocation of 967 million pesos. But Andaya says some palace officials are asking for a 1-year phase-out period to iron out legalities, including the transfer of the employees. Officials of the ARMM boycotted Friday's budget hearing in Congress. ARMM Acting Governor Alvarez Isnaji says they have lost interest in the congressional hearings since the Arroyo government does not seem interested in their own budget proposal. He says half of their proposed budget for 2002 was slashed in half, from 9.5 billion pesos to less than 5 billion. Armed leaders see the cut as an insult. Isnaji says the region needs a bigger budget for various infrastructure and livelihood projects, particularly for the war-torn areas. Coming up next, a French daredevil gets arrested for trying to jump off the Statue of Liberty. And 5 parties in one as 2 to 23 turns 5. These stories and more when News Central returns. Welcome back. In the Ukraine, President Leonid Kuchma and Russian President Vladimir Putin are not ruling out any version of Thursday's airplane crash tragedy. The plane flying from Tel Aviv to Novosibirsk exploded and crashed into the Black Sea, killing 78 people on board. U.S. satellites showed the launch of a Ukrainian missile coincided with the plane crash. Earlier, Kuchma called the U.S. claim impossible, saying the path of the missile was different from that of the plane. So far, a total of 14 bodies have been recovered from the wreckage. In Sweden, the centennial of the Nobel Peace Prize is set. The Physics Prize will be announced Tuesday, the prizes in Chemistry and Economics on Wednesday, and the Peace Prize winner on Friday. The awards will be handed out December 10th, the death anniversary of the award's creator, Swedish industrialist Alfred Nobel. A French daredevil was ordered to pay a $7,000 fine and to repair the Statue of Liberty after he tried and failed to bungee jump from it. 41-year-old Thierry Devaux pleaded guilty to a 4-count misdemeanor complaint that stemmed from his August 23rd paragliding stunt. He used a gas-powered propeller device strapped to his back. He circled the monument, planning to land on Lady Liberty's torch and then bungee jump. But the cords of his parachute were caught on the torch. He was left dangling for more than 30 minutes and 300 feet before he was rescued and then arrested. He was charged with landing an archaeological and cultural resource and intent to cause a public nuisance. Moving on to the NBA games, the Sox Argenta Gig Marlins notched its first win in overtime at the expense of the Cebuana Luilier Gems 106-103. The Marlins trailed the Gems most of the game but stayed close to finally grab the lead in the third quarter. The Marlins had the chance to win the game in regulation, but the Gems hang tough in the endgame with a game-tying tip-in at the buzzer. Bong Alvarez top scored for the Marlins with 24 points and 9 rebounds. In tennis, Monica Seles beat Thai star Tamarina Tanasugar in 2 sets, 6-3 to 6-2, to capture the Japan Open women's singles and win her 50th career title. Fighting off a sprained right ankle, Seles stormed to victory over the second-seeded Thai. Seles collected $27,000 with the win. It was her 3rd title for the season, following her victories at Oklahoma in February and the Brazilian Open last month. On to our weather. Metro Manila will experience cloudy to rainy weather tomorrow as an intertropical convergence zone continues to affect the Visayas and Mindanao. The country's southern areas will likewise experience cloudy skies with rain showers and thunderstorms. Sunrise is at 5:46 in the morning and sunset at 5:41 in the afternoon. It was the ultimate party to beat all parties as Studio 23 celebrated its 5th anniversary with an awesome display of energy at 5 simultaneous parties in one venue dubbed as High Five. Camilla Kim joined in the merrymaking and she has this report.
One venue but 5 awesome parties all at the same time. The entire Rockwell Plaza was alive as Studio 23 celebrated its 5th anniversary. Each party carried a different theme. First was ethnic. The second, R&B. Heavy metal for the more daring. And lounge music for those who wanted a more relaxed mood.
I'm just totally trying to get into the party and it's really, really fun. Thank you. I'm glad that they let me in.
But one of the highlights of the night is having studio personalities at the customer's beck and call, serving drinks Coyote Ugly style at the bar. Each Studio 23 show had a booth where games and prizes were also given away. And not only was the party wild, so were the animals.
We've had 5 good years and we just wanted to have an opportunity to celebrate it with all the viewers who have helped us, who have helped bring us to where we are today.
It's been 5 years of fun, great shows and parties. But behind this has also been 5 years of sweat, hard work, and dedication to bring you the best shows. Studio 23 has gone this far, and it's also a promising indication of the many more years of great programming. Reporting for News Central, Camilla Kim, ABS-CBN News.
After a 3-week delay, this year's 53rd Emmy Awards is finally underway, but with a somber mood, as organizers aim for a solemn tone of respect in remembrance of the September 11 terrorist attacks. The show, once hyped as a battle royale between The Sopranos and The West Wing, has transformed into a chance for the entertainment industry to join hands in a show of televised patriotic union from coast to coast. The show is now being broadcast from the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles and a studio in New York. Comedian Ellen DeGeneres hosts the awards. Newsman Walter Cronkite is giving the opening remarks in tribute to the attack's heroes and victims, which include Frasier producer David Angel, who was killed in one of the hijacked planes. The West Wing and The Sopranos are fighting it out for the major awards with 18 and 22 nominations, respectively. That's it for News Central this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Alex Alikpala. Have a good week ahead.